Welcome, listeners, to Wind Therapy, a podcast dedicated to women motorcycle riders. Why we ride, what we ride, and our backstories. Information and education from a wide range of riders with varied experiences and levels of riding ability, both on and off the road. This show is for all women riders around the world to inspire, motivate, encourage, and empower. On the 21st of January 2021, Women on Wheels was born, a grassroots movement born out of necessity and fueled by a collective desire for inclusivity and camaraderie. The first official ride, although attended only by two members, marked the beginning of something truly remarkable. Those two women, who still ride side by side today, became the foundation upon which the Women on Wheels community was built. Together, they embarked on a journey of empowerment, friendship, and personal growth. As the founder of Women on Wheels, this person had the privilege of witnessing the transformative power of collective action. From humble beginnings, the movement has grown to encompass close to 1,000 female members, with chapters spanning across various regions of Australia. At the heart of Women on Wheels lies unwavering commitment to inclusivity, empowerment, friendship, personal growth, and philanthropy. These core values not only guide their actions, but also serve as a beacon of hope for women riders everywhere. In a world where female representation in motorsport is often overshadowed, Women on Wheels stands as a shining example of what can be achieved when women come together in solidarity. I'd like to introduce you today to Kristy Carmody. Kristy, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to talk to you. I think the weather where I am, though, is a little bit different to you. I'm sitting here with a cup of tea and the heater on in the snowy mountains. It's
Yes.
freezing and raining. What's it like where you are?
It is so nice here, actually. It's such a beautiful day. I actually went for a bit of a ride this morning, so
Nice.
very nice here. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. And where are you from?
I'm from the Hunter Valley,
Beautiful.
out near Colman Vineyards, so it's very nice out here.
Yeah, lovely roads to ride on as well.
It
Yeah.
is perfect,
Haven't
yeah.
done a lot of riding up your way, but I have gone past a few times and gone, I think I need to come back here. Yeah.
And it's so accessible as well. Like you can get a lot of our guys are from Newcastle way, so we can like easily access there or Central Coast, and it's just so accessible. It's like
Yeah,
right in the middle of really great roads, so we're
beautiful.
very lucky.
Yeah, and it doesn't get too cold there, so you can ride all year round.
Sometimes it can get below zero
Oh,
actually
wow.
here in winter. Sometimes doesn't snows maybe just up in the Barringtons, like a little bit, just maybe about an hour away. So it can get a little bit cold
Yeah.
sometimes,
Oh, there you
but
go.
mostly it's not too bad.
Oh, that's good. Well, like I said before, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to hear from you and all about Women on Wheels as well. So, 2021, big year. COVID lockdowns
Yes.
sort of coming out, and a lot of people
Yep.
wanting to get out and enjoy the world again. And you guys started Women on Wheels. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
So I'm actually new to riding. I've only been riding for about five and a bit years. And I guess I started riding with my husband, and men ride very differently. And he works a lot, so otherwise it'd be me on my own. So I thought I might just start a local page. I just moved out to the Hunter from the Newcastle area. I wanted to meet some friends that were also into bike riding. So I just started up a Facebook page, because I kind of Googled first like women motorcycle group, like I'm on Facebook, and nothing was kind of showing up. And if you don't know motorcycles and all these like clubs and stuff, it's really hard to know because they call themselves different things. Like everyone's got different names. So if you just kind of Google like female motorcycle, you're not going to get you're not going to find anything.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll just make my own page. Now I didn't have anyone to join, so I made my friend join who doesn't even own a motorcycle. But I thought I actually can't. Like it can't just be me because that's sad. So I sat on my own for nearly 12 months in this group, and I said to my husband, I actually think I'm going to shut this down. This is a bit embarrassing for anyone to see, me just sort of sitting in this little club on my own. And he said to me, why don't you just advertise in the local community pages and just see if you get anyone. You never know.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we'll try that. And then I got like 5 members, and I was like, oh my God. I come running out to him, and I'm like, I've got 5 members. And then like later that night, I'm like, oh my God, I've got 10 members. I've got 10 members. I can't believe it. And he's like, oh wow. And then like by the next night, like within 24 hours, I think I had like nearly 100.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So then he comes into me, he sort of must have been having a bit of a stalk on the page, and he said, babe, have you seen these women? Like, these are badass women with badass bikes. Like, he goes, have you like actually had a look? And so I go on and had a look, and they're women that are on like some pretty ferocious bikes. And at the time I had a CBR 125, like a postie bike.
Yep. They're the ones that they use when you do your L's, aren't they, in New
Yes.
South Wales? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
bike.
I thought it was at the time. I thought, because I'd gone from, my first ever was a little Dalian scooter, and the fact that I'd had gears, I was like, I'm badass. Like, I can't, like, and then I saw these women, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
These women are actually like real bike riders. And I was like, so we had our first ever maiden voyage, and only 3 women turned up.
Wow.
Which was like, for me though, it was amazing. I had actually rushed out a week before because my husband's like, you can't turn up on a postie. Like, these, like,
Why not?
He's like, that would be so shameful.
No.
So I rushed out very impulsively, and I bought myself a Harley Street that I didn't know how to ride, and I cried all the way home, and my helmet was fogging up because I was so scared of this bike. And when I first turned up on the ride, the 2 other women, there were 2, one lady had a pretty full-on bike, but the 2 other women had Harley Streets as well. We both wobbled up. So, they're still members today, and we still ride all the time. They've moved on to bigger bikes, as we both all have, but it's that's how it kind of started.
That's really cool. I love that story. That's amazing. Good for you to sticking it out, and good for your husband saying no, just keep going. That's really cool.
Yes.
And there are some pretty badass women out there on some pretty big bikes, and I got goosebumps when you told me about that, because you hear a big bike rumbling up, and yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And they've just taught me so much. These, like, I've seen some of them, and I remember I went to I think it was like a pink ribbon ride, and this woman was there, and she had an Indian Scout.
Mm-hmm. I love those.
Really beautiful bike, and I couldn't get anyone to work on my Harley at the time, and I said, oh, who does your work? And she said, I do. Mm-hmm. And I said, what do you mean? And she's like, I would never let anyone touch my bike. I do everything. And she goes, you do? And I thought, well, I wanted to adjust my handlebars, and I thought, maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
And so I YouTubed it, and I managed to do it myself, and I thought, I would have never had the courage to ever try anything. I'm not mechanical, like, at all. And now I do lots of stuff. I mean, we changed my oil, like I do, not huge stuff, but I do at least give things a go. I would have never done that if I hadn't have been around other women and think, well, she's, like, she's giving it a go. I could do it too, So that's been really one big thing, seeing how amazing some of these women really are.
Yeah, so empowering, isn't it?
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Women on Wheels, is that they're, I see like women, and they'll post up something like, oh, I'm a bit nervous I've just got my L's, and, I don't know, like, I'm just sort of, I'm wanting to know, is anyone kind of in the local area? And you'll see women, they'll come on, they'll be like, where do you live? I'll come pick you up.
Yep.
I'll come out with you. And they're just so supportive of each other. Yep. It's just so nice to see. Like, I don't see that on men's pages. I joined lots of pages so that I could, because I wasn't connected to the biker community. I didn't know what rides or what was happening. So I joined lots of different pages. And just the difference between men and women's, they're just so supportive and encouraging. And that's what I wanted WOW to be, was just something that was like positivity and just lifting each other up, because it is a male-dominated space, and I've actually seen, like, I saw, and I won't name bike club, but there was a Christmas invite, and they wrote on the bottom of it, doing it for the hose.
Oh, no.
And I was like, like,
come on, guys.
Kind of be like, like, there are women in your club.
Yeah, come on.
So, I'm pretty outspoken with that sort of stuff. And just also, we've learned a lot to, like, I didn't know how to run group rides, or I'd never been on on a group ride before, so just learning like the etiquette of,
Yes.
I had no idea, corner marking and just
Yeah,
lots
there's a
of
lot
things that
to
go
it.
with it.
Yeah, a lot to it
Yeah.
to make sure everyone's safe, feeling like they're going on a really good ride and that it's well organized. And it's those little things that you learn along the way, sometimes by mistake, making
Yeah.
errors but then there's so much involved with those big rides. And how do you encourage women to join Women on Wheels?
Usually it's word of mouth. We usually have, like we've been on rides, just us as a big group, and we'll stop at a servo. And I remember not long ago, this lady, she was a little Philippine lady, and she ran up to us and says, "What's happening here?" And we said, "Oh, we're women on wheels." And she's, I'm a woman on a wheels. I've just moved here and I've got a wheel, so we're like here.
Cool.
And so we just show that, but it's generally just word of mouth, like
Mm.
all, and like we do mixed rides sometimes, so we will post up, you know, like in the male groups, and they might have a partner that rides, and they'll refer, or you got friends, or just
Mm.
or just all different ways people hear about it. It's pretty amazing. Like
Yeah.
we've got some trans women as well, which can be controversial. Has been controversial, which is really weird to me. But
Mm.
we've got some trans women as well. So that through the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yep.
We've had Dykes on Bikes. They've posted stuff up for us as well. So we're pretty lucky, and we get along with lots of other groups. So there's other female groups in our area,
Yeah.
and I'm members of their group, and then they will refer their friends over. So a lot of the
Mm.
time, if we're going to do a group ride, like I'm a Red Toolkit, I'm also East Coast female riders. So if I'm going to do a ride, I'll usually let the admin know and say, hey, do you mind if I cross post and let everyone know that we're doing a big ride for, say, like International Female Day Rider or
Mm.
Petrolettes ride. So those big female rides. And I had to learn the etiquette way of that, which I didn't realise as well. And so then we sort of share, so we'll all just join up together.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
everyone,
great.
so we get members from those groups as well.
Mm. Yeah, and like I see them pop up on our pages as well. So it definitely gets out there.
Mm.
Social media is an amazing tool. So that's really great. And word of mouth, 1,000 members,
Mm.
that's fantastic. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must be very proud of yourself and what you're doing.
Yeah, well, we've got some co-admins. So we've got Yola. She's been admin with me nearly from the beginning.
Hmm.
And then recently we've just put another admin on, a younger lady, Kim Bennett. And so she helps out with, because we've got a bit of a merch line as
Mm.
well. So I'm not very good with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all work full time as well. So it's good to have just an extra admin just to keep an eye on the page and just to help with the merch and to they also host rides, so we're all busy. So we
Mm.
try to host as many rides. We do host at least every weekend. There's at least one hosted ride.
That's great.
Um, Even if it's just small, and we only get a couple of members. That's fine. We've got like different chapters, local chapters,
Hmm.
where we've got some admins. Like we've got Tamworth, Gunnedah. We've got Sunshine Coast, Brisbane. We've got Central Coast, we've got Sydney West, and I think we're looking at opening another one up like Wollongong Way,
Oh,
because
great. Yep.
there's, and generally if there's enough demand for it and people start sort of calling out for it on the page, we say, well, do you want to be a mod?
Yeah, that's good.
If you want to run it,
Share the
and then we
love.
just offer them support. Yeah, so I mean they always stay on the main page, but it's good for them to have their own local pages so they can do rides and stuff. And
Yeah.
then if someone from WoW, like we might go up, like us, we might travel to, say Sydney West, where we can meet up with the Emma Bonello. She runs the Sydney West page, so we'll just meet up with her and go with the girls there, and it's just nice. It's almost like have an extended sisterhood,
Yeah.
so you
Yep.
can go to then they're so welcoming, and they know the roads, so they can show you the cool places to ride
Yep.
and places to have a beer and stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh,
We're
that's
lucky.
great. Well, you're spreading your wings for sure with all the chapters. It's really good to hear that there are so
Yeah.
many different locations. So, I suppose people listening, if they are interested in Women on Wheels, just have a look on Facebook and put Women on Wheels in the search toolbar, and
Yeah.
the page will come up and they can contact someone to have a chat about where the rides are and joining. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, always check the events tab because we always have like different events that come up. We do the
Yeah,
big ones, of course, like the big petrolettes, International Female Day Rider.
yeah.
We do Black Dog Ride,
And the
Toy Run.
Australasian Women Motorcycle Ride Day now that started. Have you heard of that one?
Yes,
Yeah,
we've got some of that. I think some of the girls, they're amazing. They do these rides like every year,
yep.
so they'll post up like videos and pictures of themselves, or they can send me little snippets. We make our TikToks
Yeah, that's
out of them
great.
and stuff.
Awesome. Oh, wonderful. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty. I want to know a little bit more about you. We've talked about Women on Wheels and that inspiration that you've spread there. What's your first memory of motorbikes? You've said you've only been riding for about 5 years, but tell us where it all started.
Uh, yeah, about 5 years ago, we went to Bali just on a holiday with my husband, and he's like, "Get on the back of my bike," and I said, "No, I'm not going to do that because if I fall off and I hurt myself, I'm okay with that because I've done it to myself. But if I fall off and hurt myself and you've done it, I don't know if I'm going
Mm.
to be okay with that." So we just hired scooters, and I had such a fun time. And everyone, when I got back, was like, "You're crazy! It's crazy over there!" Like, and I was like, "Oh, I really didn't think it. Like, I felt very comfortable. Like, yeah, it is crazy, but." Yeah, like I felt very comfortable. So when I got back, I thought, I'll just get myself a little scooter and just, see how I go, like on Australian roads. So I lived in Newcastle at the time, so it was all city, and just got myself a little scooter, which I just absolutely loved.
Yep.
And that's where it started. I mean, I've never been interested in motorbikes. I know some of these women have been, it's like they were born on the back of a motorbike, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I have such a passion for it now. I mean, it's obviously a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Now I ride pretty much every weekend. All my
Yep.
holidays are planned around it. So yeah,
There you go.
I'm
Changes
glad.
your life, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, now my kids are older, so they're one's out of home, one's just about out of home. So I have time to do it.
Time for
The
you.
money, which is
Yep.
can be very expensive.
Yeah. So you've had your scooter, you had your little 125. What are you riding now?
I have two bikes. I have an MT-09 road bike, a triple, and it's a Harley Sportster, an
Nice.
883, which I've just done some mods to it. Actually, I've got to go pick it up tomorrow because I take my poodle on the back. I
Oh,
bought myself
cool.
a little poodle pod, and he comes along with me
Oh,
on some rides. So I'm very excited to get that back. I do love my Harley
yeah. There you go.
more than the
How do you feel
MT-09.
about riding with your dog?
He loves it. He's got his little doggles that I can put on him, and he absolutely loves it. So I
Yeah.
haven't done too many rides because I first had it on, the luggage rack wasn't fantastic. So I've just got it sort of mounted a bit better. I've gone and taken up, had it sort of customised, so so that he can feel more comfortable on the back,
Yeah,
which
nice.
is a bit silly. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money to spend to put your poodle on the back," but he absolutely loves it.
Oh,
So
that's really cool. I have Jack Russells. I have one Jack Russell at the moment. Unfortunately lost a couple to snake bites this season, which was really sad. But
oh,
I would have loved to have had them on the back of the bike and taken them with me. But I'm just so nervous about putting an animal on the bike with me in case something happens. But I guess
yeah.
if you do all the right stuff, you have all the right gear for them, and they're protected, and they're safe on there as best as you can.
There,
Mm.
yeah. Well, there is a group that ride with their dogs. I can't remember the name of them. They're on Facebook, but they do ride specifically. I specifically got this little. It's a hard container, and I got it from America.
Hmm.
It's called the Pooch Pod,
Okay.
and it was actually cheaper than a lot of these because there's like I've noticed some people have them in the bags. They just
Mm.
look kind of like luggage bags, and I think, oh, if they come off, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, this is like a hard case, and it's kind of got it so it's like on the harness, so they can't jump out or anything like that. And if something like it's
Yeah.
a lot safer than just the cases. And I don't ride with him often, so
Mm.
I'd like to try to. And I only do small rides like around the vineyards and stuff
Yeah.
because
Okay.
he can make a bit of a spectacle of himself. He screams and carries on. And
Oh,
I'm
that's so
already a
funny.
spectacle with the big pink lipstick, and so yeah.
Nice. Nice. Oh, you'll have to share some photos on the Facebook page and Instagram page when you get out and about with your poodle. That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Thank
Yeah, he
you.
looks pretty cool.
Oh, very good. If you could have any bike at all, Money wasn't an option, size wasn't an
No.
option. What would you have and why?
I would love a bespoke arc because I just absolutely love them. But at like 130,000, I know that that's probably a dream,
You
but it's not
never
going to
know.
happen. So if I win Lotto, would be a bespoke arc because I just think that they're fantastic. They're
Okay.
totally tailored to you. Like basically you do like a consultation. They sit down and decide like what is it that you actually want. They talk about like colours and graphics and powder coat finishes and detail
Nice.
accents, and they're just amazing. And the only reason I got into them was because of Keanu Reeves. So he's owner of motorcycles,
Right.
and he rode this beautiful. It was almost like mirrored. It was just like all silver. It looked so beautiful. I'm like, what the hell is that? That is such a nice
Yeah.
bike. So then I started looking them up, and I'm like, oh,
Ah,
well, yes, they are really
nice.
nice, but
Well, Keanu, if you're listening, you're a good mate
oh,
of
come
mine.
on,
If you're listening, please give Kristy a beautiful
please.
bike.
I
I know he's
promise
got a
you,
massive
it'll.
heart. You just never know. Yeah, yeah.
Keanu, we love you,
Keanu.
please.
Actually, funny story. I'm from the South Coast, and when I first got my motorbike license years and years and years ago, like I was happily married with kids and everything, still am, still am. And Keanu was known to visit Berry quite often. And I was told, I don't know if this is true, that he used to ride his motorbike a lot around. So I would lap Narrowberry Shoalhaven Heads, Narrowberry Shoalhaven Heads, just in case I would come across Keanu.
I'm there.
Never happened. Never happened. But you just never know. Let's put it out there. You never know what might happen.
Apparently, he's a really nice guy. So
Apparently. Yeah, apparently.
I think he gifted one to Jason Momoa. I
Of
think I've
course he
read.
did. Of course he did.
And I'm like, oh,
That's
this
another
is such a
person. Look,
beautiful
I'm
bike.
sure Jason would be very happy to give something as well. He sounds like a lovely guy. Well, he looks like a lovely guy. I'm
I
sure he
love
is.
Jason Momoa. Two of
Oh,
my
dear.
favourites.
Maybe we could put them in a dress and they could come and do International Female Riders Day or Australasian Women
Yes.
Motorcycle Ride Day with us.
We would make an
Please.
exception for these two. Like,
Absolutely.
we don't usually have boys, but come on down. I'm sure the girls would love it,
Oh, they would. Imagine how many people would ride on that day if they knew that was happening. Anyway. Look, they're normal people, really, when it comes down to it. Put a helmet on, you jump on a bike, and we're all the same.
yeah.
Yeah, in my mind. In my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh dear. So you mentioned that you're up in the Hunter Valley.
hmm
What sort of riding do you do? Like what's the typical riding day for you?
I sort of road. I don't do any dirt or off-road stuff, which I know is a bit girly, but mostly just like social
Hmm.
riding. I've done some like longer trips. We just went down and did the Great Ocean Road with some of the girls, which was pretty fun. So
Yeah.
and then we went down to the Sheila Shakedown actually, which was so fun. It's like the Girl Biker
Yep.
Olympics,
Yep.
which I'm hoping to do. Take a bigger contingency. We went down as a bit of a
Yeah.
scouting tour this time, and it was
Yep.
amazing. It's just amazing to see so many girl bikers. That's
Yep.
for
And
sure,
it's getting
and they're
bigger and
tough.
bigger, the Sheila Shakedown. Bigger
It
and
is.
bigger.
It's so good, and they're
Mm.
just like they're really tough girls. I remember saying to my husband on the phone, "Oh my god, like these girls are really like tough, like they're. I don't think I'm this tough." So I do more like road social riding.
Nice.
I just even if there's like a bit of gravel. I know this is very girly, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm a bit scared. I don't want to drop my
I'll do a
bike.
U-turn. You guys go that 1 kilometre and I'll go back 50 and I'll meet you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm a little bit like that. I did do a lot of dirt stuff. Like that's where I started. I was like only 5, and my first road bike was only probably 15 years ago. Before that, they were dirt bikes. My
Yeah.
first road bike was actually a TTR 125, and that lasted about a week because it felt very dangerous on the road. But now, because I'm so short, I'm like only 152 centimeters tall. Even on my Vulcan, I'm tippy toes. So to move it on the
Tiny.
gravel, um, I don't have flat feet, so it's like marbles under your feet.
Yeah,
So I get
yeah,
that. I get that. But I have about a kilometre of dirt down to my house that I have to ride at the beginning and the end of all of my rides. But because I really know it inside and out, it's okay. But it can be
yeah,
really daunting,
yeah,
if
yeah.
especially on a road bike, because it is like riding on marbles. Yeah, if you haven't got
Yeah,
the right
yeah, and
tires
my
and
Harley's really lowered too. So
mm,
like, I'm always worried that it's gonna like because even if you corner a bit, like it's very very low, like it's gonna
mm,
hit that block, the engine block, and it knocks
yeah,
it up, and it can really like it really scares you, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah.
I'm not like confident
Well,
on the
you want
gravel.
to enjoy your ride as well, and if you know that's something you don't enjoy, you don't do it. Don't yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I think we were riding back from Dubbo, my husband and I, and we had this last little bit of gravel. It was right before it broke, and I
Mm,
remember saying to him, I stopped straight away and I said, "No, nah, I'm not." And
mm,
he said, "Otherwise, we've got to go back around. It's going to be another hour on the trip." And I was sitting there like, "Oh
mm,
God!" I had to say, I mean, I did it, but I was like,
mm.
"Oh." It was just so
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh, poor
terrified.
thing. You feel good when you've done it, but yeah, while you're doing it,
Yes.
tears are running down your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you poor thing. Well, that's okay. You know where you like to ride and how you want to ride. That's no problem with that at all.
Well, I think I've seen some girls and they said that the dirt bikes are just a lot lighter, so
Mm,
it's easy. They're easier to sort of throw around. It won't. It's not as
mm.
daunting
Yeah.
because I've got the Harley. It's a
It's a
very
very
heavy bike, but
different
people,
ride. Yeah. Like you can stand
yeah,
up on a dirt bike, you stand up. And it's
yeah,
so much easier when it's rough or really slippery or anything. You just stand up. It's so much easier. But on a something like your bike, you can't do that. You
mm.
can't get that balance when you're standing up. So yeah, different bikes, different conditions, different riding. Wouldn't it be good
And
if we
you
could
like,
have one that sort of did everything, like a bit of transformer or something? That would be cool.
well, you have a look at like the enduros. They can do a bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
I rode an enduro down to do the Great Ocean Road, and they just handle fantastic. My
Mm,
husband's got one, and I always think, they look top heavy, and
mm,
I don't know why. You know why they just look. You know, to me, I don't love them.
mm.
But then I rode one. I thought, oh, okay, I can see the appeal here.
Yeah.
Like they are, comfortable. They handle really well. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
But
you can
they're
go
not
off road.
they're not a big Harley that sounds beautiful, are they?
Well, that's the thing. And he keeps saying to me like, oh, well, look at this. Wasn't that easier? Isn't
Mm.
that easy? And I'm like, yes, of course it is.
But
Everything's easier and everything's cheaper, but it's not my Harley.
exactly, yes, exactly. Yep.
I'm a grand whore. Sorry.
That's okay. So, other than that ride that you did with that little bit of gravel, was there anything else that you've ridden that you've been really proud of doing that was really funny, was the best ride you've ever done, or you've had a really scary moment as a rider?
I've done Dubbo a couple of times to go and do the big Dubbo rally, and that was pretty. It was my first big overnight trip that I did with the girls, and it was so cold. It was like 5 hours
Mm,
to get there, which was I'd never ridden that far, and it was very very cold, like insanely cold,
mm.
and I had every bit article of clothing. I looked like the Michelin Man, I swear, but they weren't complaining, and so I thought, well, I can't complain, but I did complain the whole time to my husband. I was texting him like, I'm dying here.
Oh, yeah.
So I was pretty proud. I've done most of Bali as well. Like we've been absolutely everywhere around Bali. I think we've done thousands of k's around there, and
Wow.
some of that is just. I mean, people think, oh, Bali, it's crap, it's for bogans, But if you go out to like Sanu or Canggu, or it's just, it's just amazing.
Yep.
If you could get yourself a scooter, they're only $5 a day.
Wow.
You can, go out and stay anywhere. It doesn't matter if you get lost. It just because you never really lost. Like you'll turn the corner and you get to the top and it's because it's so hot in Bali,
Yep.
But you get to the top and you get to these big cold patches where it's freezing cold. You have to put a jumper on,
Wow.
and the vegetation is just like nothing you've seen. It's just you can't believe it because usually it can get a bit grimy there and there's trash and there's so many people and stuff, but once you get up there you can't see anyone
Mm.
like for
I
miles.
suppose it's like here, you get out into the country compared to the city, it's so different.
Yeah,
So you've got to, experience all of it before you really make that decision.
Like, really, it's so cheap too. So
Yeah.
I'm going to actually try to take a group of women on wheels. I'm going to try to get us over there, even
Cool.
just for a week. I mean, I have broken my arm 2 years in a row going over there on scooters, but hey, I
So that
still
would have
kept
been a bit
riding.
scary. Did you? What happened?
That
How
was
did that happen? Tell us that story.
well, the first time I broke it was my honeymoon. Actually, my husband and I were riding. He'd overshot the corner, and our usual thing was that he would keep going, do a U-turn, and come back. But he decided he was just going to stop in the middle of the road.
Oh no.
So I had almost stopped, and I hit the back of his bike, flew over. First night of my honeymoon, I got up and I said, "I've busted my arm." He said, "No, you'll be right. Walk it off.
Walk it
It's fine."
off.
And I said, "No, I'm pretty sure I've busted my arm." And he said, "No, you'll be right." So I got back on, and I thought, "All right." Anyway, a couple of days later, got back to the big group, my friends, and they're like, "You've busted your arm." I rode for another 2 weeks on it, thinking, okay, got home, got to the hospital. They're like, "You've busted your arm." 6 weeks at a cast. 12 months later, I go back again. I'm riding with a girlfriend. She has a bit of a freak out, just like an over. If you've really got to just focus on your riding and not worry about other people. And she had become really overly stimulated and was totally freaking out. So we pulled over, and anyway, I managed to get her on. Rang a friend, got the friend to ride, and she was on the back. And this guy clipped the back of my tyre while I was stopped. Broke the same arm in the same spot.
Kristy. Oh no.
As soon as I stood up, I was like, "Oh, I've busted my arm again."
Oh no.
So I still rode for another 2 weeks, come back, went back to the hospital. They're like, "What the hell are you doing up here again?" It's like, for a
Far
busted
out.
arm.
Jeepers. So how did you ride with a busted arm for 2 weeks? You just have it really strapped up really well?
Just strapped it up. Yeah, it was
Far
only
out.
on the plane ride home that it was like, I think it was a cabin pressure.
Yeah.
Because the plane ride home, I was like, "Oh, this is starting to ache."
Whoops.
Like, this because I did a surf. That was for my 40th. I was like, "Oh, I'll go over to a surfing
Yeah.
and motorbike tour." Well, the surfing was out because the arm was just not playing ball, but I still rode. I just kept taping it up. It would just ache after a while.
Yeah. Far out.
Now it just aches when it's cold.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting story. Not going to do that
Everyone.
3 times, I hope.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm
Oh,
planning a bit of a trip now, and I'm like, this time
armour.
I'm not coming back with the
This
cast
time you can
on.
wear armour. Far out. Oh dear. But it sounds like Bali's your place to go to have
Love
those
it.
adventures, and that's really great. I think
I think
there's
I'd like to do a Litchfield or Kakadu tour next.
mm,
I'd love to get up around
it's
there, around Darwin.
beautiful. Yeah. I haven't done it on a bike, but my family and I have done that driving, and it is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Worth doing. Yeah, I'd love to go back there. It's just
yeah.
very spiritual, and it's pinch yourself type stuff up there. And there's
Yeah, I'm
hardly
an Aboriginal
anyone.
person,
Oh,
and I'm a Dark and Jun Central Coast. My
mm,
family are Aboriginal people, and I went up to Darwin that last year, I think it was, for a conference, and I ended up going and doing like a small tour up at Litchfield,
mm,
and just to see some of the Aboriginal people, and
mm.
just to get out there and swim in some of the water holes,
Yep.
and I thought, I want to do this on a bike, and I've had a bit of a Google, and there are some tours that do take you up. You can like go up for up to a week if you want. They take you just on the back of bikes and
Wow.
camp out and stuff. And I thought, yes, that
Yeah.
is my next thing.
Yep. Absolutely. I didn't know they did that sort of bike stuff up there, but that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could
yeah.
ride yourself.
Oh, I would absolutely love
Yeah.
it. I think hiring might be
The fuel would
riding
worry
now.
me because you can ride so fast up there because of the speed limit there, but there's just not a lot of places for fuel, so I
Yeah,
guess you'd need to carry some. But what an adventure. You'll have to keep us posted.
yeah, I will.
So you've had a lot of funny things happen. You've had some scary stuff happen. You've stretched your limits, and you've been really proud at the end of those rides. And I'm sure there's many more adventures to come where you'll have some stories to tell. Um, so you
Yeah,
mentioned that you did the Great Ocean Road last year. So is that
this year.
this year? Sorry, was that the furthest that you've ridden?
Yeah, well, we actually we drove down there,
Okay.
and
Yep.
then we hired bikes
Ah,
because
okay.
we just thought we didn't have a lot of time off work. We wanted to. I've been saying to myself for years, I'll get to Sheila's Shakedown. It looks amazing, but something had happened. The lady who I was going with, her bike got stolen, and
Oh.
there's all sorts of things happened. So this year I was like, you know what, I'm determined.
Mm.
I'm going. So I thought I don't want to, because otherwise I would have had to ride down over a couple of days, and I wanted to do the Great Ocean Road. So I thought I'm going to drive down and hire a bike. So we hired bikes down there. They got Royal Enfields,
Okay.
the other two girls I was with, and then I had the adventure bike. And so we did Sheila Shakedown on the Friday and Saturday, and then we went and did the Great Ocean Road, which I think we got right up to Port Campbell.
Yep.
It was good because we did a lot of stops. It wasn't super full on. Like we went to the 12 Apostles, and yeah, we just stopped along the way. Got lots of photos, lots of videos. You
Nice.
know, lots of scouting around. It was relaxed. It was good. We actually sat down and planned it sort of all out of like, okay, this is going to be like, an hour,
Mm.
and we're going to want to rest. Try to rest after every 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
Just even if it's just stopping for a little bit, we just have some water or something. And that's what I noticed the difference between riding with men and females. Like I was talking earlier, we had my husband and I. We rode yesterday, and he rides for an hour solid, and he could keep going. He's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" Like I'm like, "I'm tired."
Yeah.
So it was good. We're able to stop for lots. So we like to get photos and have a bit of a chat. Oh, did you see this and see that? So it was
That's really
amazing.
cool. Yeah. And hiring bikes is a good idea. Like as long as you know what you need to do to
Yeah.
hire. Whereabouts did you hire them from?
I think it was called Eagle Rider.
Hmm.
So it was down. I can't remember that. I think it was Geelong West. So we just went and got them from Geelong West. We just parked our car like across the road from there. Picked the bikes up. They had panniers on them. So we just had backpacks and panniers, and then off we went for 3 days. It
Wow.
just stopped along the way. We just had like different hotels and stuff that we'd stopped at. Hired tiny little, awful little tiny house with like a compost toilet.
Great.
Some
Adventure. All
places.
an adventure.
It was an adventure.
Yeah, and good
We
time
did
of
have
year
a
to
good
do it
time.
down there too. February is beautiful.
So nice.
Yeah, I really wanted to get to Sheila Shakedown this year as well, but it didn't happen. I think I ended up being, where was I? I think I was up in Queensland. But next year,
Mm.
I'd really like to go next year. So I'm in between Sydney and Melbourne. So to get to Sheila
Uh,
Shakedown's probably half a day ride for me. It's probably about 4.5 hours,
yep.
mainly
Oh, that's
mainly just
great.
down the Hume. So it's not too bad. But picking up people along the way too.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe next year. It just seems to be getting bigger and better every year. So that's really
Oh,
exciting for the girls
it's
that
just
organise
so
that.
well run.
Yeah. How was accommodation?
We stayed at this tiny little house up the road because we didn't know that we could stay. So I thought this year what we'll do is we're going to hire one of those little Volkswagen little camper van things, and we'll stay. We'll actually stay on site because the ticket that you buy gives you accommodation, like you
Yeah.
can camp there.
Yeah.
So, and I think we probably missed a whole section of it that we would have really enjoyed if we had been able to stay. But we couldn't have a
Mm.
drink. We couldn't stay too long because we were riding bikes back in the
Yeah, you
dark,
didn't want to.
and it was
Yeah.
unfamiliar. So we kind of really missed a bit of that vibe, but it was good. I said, look, we're going to go scout it out.
Yeah.
Then we'll know what to do next year when we take our bigger group. So
Perfect.
we've already posted that up on the page, and we've got quite a few girls that are interested. But if anyone's interested, they can go on, just check out the events tab, and just come along. And then we're going to do lots of stops along the way to pick girls up.
Yep.
So we probably will again hire bikes instead of. So there might be some girls that want to ride. There are some girls that are going to drive.
Yep.
So there'll be spaces in cars or places that we can get together. Maybe if we do like a big group where we hire bikes together,
Yeah.
might get it cheaper and stuff. So just check out the page and that event
That's great.
going, or maybe.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Kristy. That's awesome. An adventure to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure.
What would be your dream ride? Where do you want to ride?
Um, like I was thinking, saying earlier, Litchfield, Kakadu. Like I'd love to go around there. Vietnam or Thailand, something like that looks pretty good. That seems
Yep.
to be the rage. Everyone seems to be loving that at the moment. Yeah,
Cool.
somewhere around there.
Very
But I think,
achievable. Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
first Darwin. I think go back to Darwin.
Yeah.
Hopefully, don't get eaten by some crocodiles over there.
Oh
That'd be
no,
good.
look, I think if you're with people that know what they're doing, I was watching
Yeah.
something on TV last night with my hubby. There's a couple of guys on adventure bikes going to Nepal or somewhere like that, And I said to
Yeah,
Scott,
wow.
that's why I think I would much rather go with someone who knows what they're doing, because you don't have to
Yeah,
ride up the end of that track to see if that's going to get you where you need to go. But go with someone who knows what they're doing, takes that stress out. I'm too old to worry about all
yes.
that other stuff. I want to know that I'm going to have food, I'm going to have fuel, I'm going to have somewhere to sleep, I'm going to be able to have a shower, but I want that adventure as well. So, yeah.
We just did Japan actually over for 3 weeks,
Oh, nice.
my husband and I, and yeah, I look back and yeah, it was great, but I wish we did go with a tour in the end because just it's really hard when you don't know the language and
Mm,
it's can be really complicated to get around and where do you get fuel
yeah.
and yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
and you
easier to
miss
go with someone.
stuff. Like, you can
Yeah,
miss some
yeah,
really cool stuff if you don't know what you're
yeah,
looking for. Well,
yeah,
it sounds like your husband's pretty good at going on adventures with you as well, so that's great.
yeah.
Very
Sometimes.
good. Since you started riding, what has riding taught you about yourself?
I guess that I guess I'm braver than I think, and that you know it's taught me to give things a try. That like I said earlier about the YouTube. I'd always just think, well, I can't do that, and it's helped me in other aspects of my life. I bought a house, and then I had some tiling and stuff to do, and I would have never ever thought I could do anything like that. But I thought, well, if I can change the handlebars
Mm,
on my bike, maybe I could do this tiling around here. And so then I've learned how to tile.
that's cool. Very good.
And then well, maybe I can fix this fence myself, or I could help with this power tool.
Mm,
So it's helped with like all aspects of my life, just gaining my confidence
yeah,
and for that I'm really so many friends made. Some of these women
yeah, yeah,
are amazing. I can't even tell you, they're so inspirational. I just can't believe some of the friendships
mm,
that I've made and how amazing these women are,
yeah,
capable. Yeah,
yeah.
they
And
inspire
if you
me.
never picked up that bike, you would have never have met them. It's
No,
just amazing,
no,
isn't it? Yeah,
wouldn't have
and
crossed paths. I mean, because
yeah,
I work in social work, and so it's not something that
yeah.
I would have never come across these women, and they're just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
You know what? I was talking to someone the other day about women that ride and people that I've met through riding. And I reckon a majority of the people that I've met have a role or a job that they work in that is giving to others, like you with your social
Yeah.
work. And this, riding a bike, this therapy, this wind therapy that we have is our way of escaping and giving something back to ourselves,
Mm.
filling our cup up again, because what we do is forever giving to somebody else, which is a great thing. I think that's in our makeup when we have roles like that. But it's amazing how many people
Mm.
that you talk to that are in that giving role that ride motorbikes. It's
Yeah, and I
crazy.
guess
Yeah.
I've had so many people. I went to the hairdresser not long ago, and my hairdresser I've known for years said, "Oh, how's the Harley going?" And I had a chat. And the other hairdresser next to her said, "You have a Harley?"
Yeah.
And she said she actually has a motorcycle gang. She's the president of the motorcycle gang. And she went, oh, and because I'm blonde and I have the big Botoxy lips and I don't. She said,
It's
you don't
cool,
look
isn't
like
it?
the sort of person that would.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, it's called breaking stereotypes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mightn't look like that, but yeah, I
You
do.
shock
Got a Harley
people. I
Davidson.
like to shock people. What? You have a motorbike and you've got tattoos? No. Like, yep, we'll prove
Yes.
it. Okay. So
Actually, my
yeah.
sister said that. My sister's friend said, "I know that you've got a motorcycle gang. Do you guys do illegal activities? You can tell me." I'm like, we're a bunch of middle-aged ladies. I don't. We're not doing. Maybe breaking the speed limit. That might be about it.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it, what people think? Oh
I don't know
dear.
what they must think that we're out here. God knows.
Oh, it's funny. So
Are we
funny.
gun running or something? Are we?
Oh, I don't think we'd be looking like we do if we
No.
did. Oh dear. Oh, that's so funny. The stereotypes though, it's like that. And look, my grandmother, who's in her 90s, is so proud of me that I ride a motorbike. My mum rode motorbikes. My sisters ride motorbikes.
Oh, cool.
Like, but to look at us the same, they'd be like, "Well, really? No." No way. So it's good to shock people. It's good to be proud of yourself and go outside of that stereotype, but for good reason. Like, we're not out there on our
Yeah,
own. We're out there with other women, building them up and making them feel that awesomeness and freedom of riding a bike, because there's
yeah.
nothing that can reciprocate that feeling. Nothing at
Yeah,
all.
and it's
Yeah.
so good, like just seeing the, like I said, the women, helping each other out and building each other up. Because I don't know, like I just it's there's women that are like domestic violence
Mm.
survivors, they're sexual assault survivors. They have had not great experiences with men. They don't want to ride with men.
No,
They don't feel, yes, we have mixed rides, and as long as someone wants to post up a ride and say, look, it's
yeah.
mixed, and
Yeah.
then people can choose to ride or not. But mostly they're only females,
Hmm.
and we do that. We do that for a reason, and it's just so nice to see women supporting other women. I see women up there, and I say, look, I've separated from my husband. He never allowed me to ride. I've always wanted to ride, and then I see other women say, yeah, that's happened to me, and I've got this bike, and I'll come out with you.
Yeah. You're not
And
on
it's
your
just
own.
they're just lifting each other up. There's a lady actually who you should have on. She's fantastic. She's actually writing a book, Learning Curves, and it's a motorcycle riding guide by women for women.
Awesome.
Um, and it's got lots of vital information on how you can build your confidence, enjoy motorcycle riding. It's got like safety tips on there, and there's a whole section that she talks about domestic violence.
Wow.
So it's really, really interesting. She actually asked Women on Wheels to be part of that, and we were interviewed for part of that, and we've got some
Mm.
sections in it. But so look out for that. She might
I'd
be
love
one
to
that you want
chat
to
with her.
talk to.
Yeah, I'd love
Yeah,
to chat with her. That
yeah,
sounds
she's
great.
fantastic.
Oh, thanks,
So
Kristy.
it is
Yeah.
like a big slant on that as well. Like we just like a lot of our stuff is about positivity,
Yeah.
and empowering each other, and it's just because at first it was like a lot from when I was first posting on the page. We weren't getting a lot of interaction, so it was me and the other admins really like
Mm.
really, really driving it. And now some days it could be a couple of days and I haven't gone on, and I go on and it's just everyone just interacting,
It's
just building
great.
each other up, and
Yeah.
it's just so beautiful to see.
There's
It's
always
like,
something going on your page, and it's beautiful. Yeah. I love
yeah,
going on there. Oh, that's so
yeah,
good. Yeah, it's so good. And onwards and upwards. This is just the beginning,
yeah, yeah, we hope.
Yeah, just the beginning. It's fantastic. So the last thing that I want to ask you before we close off for today is what tips or advice would you give to new riders or someone who's wanting to ride?
I would say just give it a go. I'd try to say find like-minded people,
Mm.
like other women as well. I mean, I first started with my husband, so luckily partner. They ride, sort of tag along with them, and I mean, this is not for everyone, but I do see some people when they buy bikes when they first start, they want to get the biggest one that they can get, like the most CCs.
Mm.
I would say go up in small increments, because if you come off or you scare yourself, you may not want to keep going.
Yeah.
You might be a bit braver than me, I don't know, but I went up in little increments. Like I said, I had my scooter and my 125, and then I had the 500, and now I'm up to then my 883, and now I've got the 1000 MT09. So I've
Yeah.
gone up in increments. If I would have gone up, say, from my 125 to even the 500 or 883, I think that would have been really frightening.
Mm.
And then I don't know, like if I had actually ever come off, I don't know if I would have been brave enough at that stage to get back on.
Yeah.
So, and I just say, just don't ever let anyone push you. Like only ride to what you feel comfortable. Doesn't matter who's behind you. Doesn't matter who's around you. They can bloody wait.
Yep. Absolutely.
Just ride to what you feel comfortable and you feel safe doing.
Mm. Oh, that's great advice. Thanks so much, Kristy. And I've had a wonderful time chatting with you today. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for your
thanks so much for
time.
having me. Yeah, it was great.
And we look forward to hearing from you more in the future.
Yeah,
All right.
fantastic.
Thanks, Kristy. See you later.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends. If you or someone you know might like to be part of Win Therapy episodes, email wintherapypodcast@yahoo.com. Special thanks to Megan Peacock for the awesome wind therapy illustration, and to Zoe Francis for her technical support, direction, and production of this podcast.